Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
We're making an ad.
Napping
Yeah.
ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week. Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
Well, there's a party each and every year on Christmas Eve, where the fun and cocktail shrimp don't seem to end. Clark and Ralphie taking turns on the TV screen, laughing, singing, yelling with all of our friends. Well, it's Christmas, and everybody's gonna spread the holiday cheer. 'Cause it's Christmas. Oh, it's the best time of the year. Let's go fake reindeer again.
Hey, Dylan.
Hey, Matt.
Listen, I think we need to be upfront before we talk about this.
Yeah.
Neither one of us, I think, would identify as a Jimmy Fallon fan.
So that's what I was going to ask. That's off air. We talked about how we were going to approach this, and I said I wanted to have a brief conversation. And that was my conversation, is I was going to ask, what are your feelings towards Jimmy Fallon? Because I don't dislike Jimmy Fallon. I don't love Jimmy Fallon, but I don't dislike Jimmy Fallon. And I think that's because I have a soft spot for his Christmas SNL related things.
I was going to say, I think that this album really made me like Jimmy Fallon a whole lot
This
less.
album made me jump on the Jimmy Fallon hate train.
Yeah,
Like, I get it. I get what people are saying now. Now, that doesn't mean that I start to dislike Christmas Treat.
No.
That
But
song's
Christmas
amazing.
Treat is not just a one-man show.
No. And I also love the Rappingville sketches from SNL. I really do love him and JT together in that.
I think the problem that I saw in this, and it's the problem that people have had with Jimmy Fallon for a really long time, is like the biggest fan of Jimmy Fallon is Jimmy Fallon.
It's Jimmy Fallon.
And like, I think that his love for himself is too much. It's
Yeah.
like, and this, like, from the very start, we get this Christmas Ding Dong song, and I just wrote, Jimmy is a very mediocre singer. Like,
Jimmy is. Oh, you are giving him way too much credit.
well, and that's like,
Jimmy's a bad singer. Like,
Jimmy's
this
a
is
bad singer, and
bad
most of this
record.
album is him auto-tuned
Yes.
to an outrageous degree.
And it is that, and that's the thing, is like, if it doesn't sound overly processed, it's off. Like it's a highlighter on how bad of it. Because there's a couple songs where I feel like they do turn the auto-tune down, and it's not a good situation either.
No.
So I just don't think he needs to be singing on this album at all. I think this album would have been better if it was a Jimmy Kimmel. I don't want to hear that either.
No.
A Jimmy Fallon presents.
Well, that's
like
the
a
thing,
Christmas,
because
and he does like interstitials and shit.
the like most likable songs are ones where he has a guest doing all of the heavy lifting for him.
Yep.
And like to
And
compare
those songs'
this
worst parts are when Jimmy is singing.
and like to compare it to an album that we covered earlier. I mean, Rosie O'Donnell is not much of a singer either, but she is a hell of a better singer and showman than Jimmy is.
Yeah.
Like I would listen to both Rosie O'Donnell albums 15 times before I would ever come back to this Jimmy Fallon holiday season.
Somebody clip that. That is a quote that needs to
Yeah.
be used somewhere.
But like in all honesty, not a single song got moved over
No.
to a playlist. Like this
No.
is rough. So I think listen, we've done a very specific way that we do albums, which is like we go
do.
track by track, we discuss.
Yeah.
I don't think that we can do that with this.
I don't
it
think
would
we
be
can.
it would be too much of a hate. And I don't think
Yeah.
that this is going to be a particularly long episode, but there
No.
are 16 tracks. So I want us to
Yes.
at least go track by track and say our initial
25
thoughts.
if we were to do the deluxe, which I was
thank
not doing.
God
I'm
we
so
did
sorry.
not. But yeah, Christmas Ding Dong, my one note was just Jimmy is a very mediocre singer.
Yes.
Um,
Holiday became to me, honestly, which one's Jimmy? Because I felt like every single and I don't hate the Jonas Brothers, but I feel like every vocal on this recording had very specific auto tune to the point where I had read a review earlier today because I wanted to know where we stood in the worldly zeitgeist.
Yeah.
I was like, am I
Are we
missing
mean?
something? like, is this good? Somebody said these songs are so over processed that it sounds like a Christmas album written by AI.
it does, and
I was
also
like,
lyrically,
yeah.
it feels like an album written by AI.
Yup. These the voices don't sound like these people's voices. Like it's really weird. Now I will say some of these songs came out years ago, which is my other big peeve of it, is like some of these songs are 3 to 4 years old.
Yeah,
To which I'm like, okay, man, like I see what you're trying to do, but you are advertising this as a brand new Christmas album. This is not a compilation, a Christmas compilation that you put together. But I have my own peeve when bands and artists do that anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, Holiday to me,
Perfectly
again,
fine song.
it's-
I'll
yep.
never think about it again.
Nope.
Then we get Hey Rudy, which
Yeah.
features the Roots. And at the start, I was hating it. Then the
Yeah.
Roots started doing their thing, and I was like, all right, this is fine.
Yeah.
Like, it's
It's
but I'm not going to ever listen to this song again either.
it's
Like,
what's wild to me is like the Roots are one of the greatest bands of all time.
and they're tethered
easily.
to Jimmy Fallon in a way that's like unfortunate.
It's so weird. Like Black Thought is a top 5 MC. Like
Oh,
I don't
100%. Like-
easily a top 5 MC. I don't understand how I don't want to use the word trapped because I feel like they really enjoy being Jimmy Fallon's house band.
But
And I'm
it
sure they
feels-
enjoy the paycheck.
Yeah,
of
but
being
it
Jimmy Fallon's
feels-
house band.
It feels like what's happening here. It doesn't feel the same as like when the drummer from Bruce Springsteen was the band leader for Conan O'Brien. Because
Yeah.
there would definitely be like weeks where they had a fill-in drummer and he just didn't have a band leader, or like he threw to another one of the guys in the band to like riff with.
Yeah.
Like it just, but I think that that's you know what it is? And I think that this is why people don't like Jimmy Fallon. Even having the Roots as his band, it all just feels like, look at all the famous people that will answer my phone.
Yep.
Like, it's like there's this element of like, look how cool I am. Look how cool my friends are. Look how much everybody wants to do stuff with me. Because like Conan, and like, that's what bothers me is even like Jay Leno. Like when you have like, you look at Johnny Carson, David Letterman, Jay Leno, Conan O'Brien, there has never been a talk show host who has inserted themselves into so many bits with the celebrity
I mean,
guests.
even if you
like
want to
this.
talk about like people doing it now, like Kimmel doesn't insert
Seth
himself
Meyers.
in, like,
every once in a while, Seth Meyers will do like
Yeah.
day drinking or something.
yeah, like
but
they have their sketches, like their skits, but like when it comes to promoting stuff for other people, I mean, I feel like they let the artists do their thing, and that is not what Fallon does.
It's just so fucking weird. Like, it's like, hey, I'm here to do a movie. Great. How about we do a rap song together where we rap the lyrics to a random TV show theme song? Like, what is this doing for my movie promotion at all? It seems like it's just for you to get to rap again.
But like these people do it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Nobody says no.
Yeah,
like and I think that's another.
I would
thing.
love to have the opportunity to say no. I would love.
Yes.
I would love to be famous enough to be asked to be on Tonight Show and then decline every bit that's offered to me.
I also feel like Questlove as a personality has like outgrown being the drummer for the Roots. Like he's just.
You know what?
Just everywhere.
Honestly, if him and Jimmy switch places, I would watch the Tonight Show a lot more. I would more interested in what Questlove wants to ask celebrities than Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Also, just like I again, this is gonna feel like we're dunking on Jimmy Fallon, and maybe we are, but like, I also think that he is the absolute worst on like.
I just want to say, it's going to sound like we're dumping on Jimmy Fallon, but I think he's the absolute worst.
Well, no. When it comes to like trying to cover up that this is a predetermined conversation that they're going into, like, everything is so telegraphed where it's like they'll just be like talking about something else. He's like, so I heard the other day that you're really into Razor scooters. Like, it's like, no, whatever. All right, moving on.
It's
Wrap
also
me
like
up,
the fake
Meghan Trainor.
He got not to dunk on Jimmy Fallon, but it's also like his fake fucking personality.
I don't like the guy, and it shows in my notes. So here's what I wrote for. This is what I wrote for Wrap Me Up with Meghan Trainor. Jimmy's voice is like a robotic auto-tune. I'm catching a theme with this album, which is that every song greatly improves when Jimmy stops singing and the guest artist does.
Yeah, and I also want to clarify that I don't hate autotune. A lot of my favorite artists use autotune very well, whether they want it to be noticed or not. Like, I listen to artists that noticeably use autotune, and I listen to artists that use it to like the way it's supposed to be used, where it does autocorrect some of the pitch, the offness of pitch in your voice. But this is it done so poorly.
Yeah.
Because it's used, and you know, not to keep dunking on him, but you know he's sitting there like, I'm fucking killing this.
Yeah.
Like, you know that as he's singing each of these songs. My thoughts towards Wrap Me Up is go listen to Meghan Trainor's Christmas album, because it's better
which
than
I've
this.
never heard. So maybe we'll do that in 2025.
It's not awful. Like it's not my favorite of modern pop stars doing Christmas albums, but it's not bad. It's got some pretty catchy jams on it.
So we get to You'll Be There, featuring his favorite celebrity to hang out with, Justin Timberlake. And I wrote,
he still? Do you think he's still his favorite celebrity to hang out with?
I mean,
Now
this
that the
album
entire-
just came out a month ago.
Yeah, but when did this song come out? Hold on.
Oh, that's true. But I wrote, this is by far my least favorite song so far, but there's still 10 more tracks to go.
No, this is a modern one.
Yeah,
All right.
so they're
I was
still
just
buddies.
Wondering.
They're
because
still buddies.
we definitely, the world has turned on JT. I feel like it has. I don't know. Have we turned back? I don't know. The world's in fucking shambles.
Yeah,
Who
I
cares?
think in the grand scheme, we all have better things to be angry about than what Justin Timberlake is up to.
I think so as well. This song isn't good.
No, it's really bad.
Justin Timberlake, much like Meghan Trainor, has better Christmas songs on his own.
Well, and the next track we get something really incredible, right? It's called "It Was a Masked Christmas."
This came out 3 years ago.
Featuring Ariana Grande. Well, I guess the Masked Christmas really gave that part away.
I was just to
featuring
clarify.
Ariana Grande and Megan Thee Stallion, and he did this impressive thing where he simultaneously gave me my least favorite songs by both of those artists, whom I usually like.
Yeah, both artists. Ariana Grande is absolutely incredible, and so is Megan Thee Stallion. I mean, Megan, I believe, released a great record this year.
Yeah,
I think that was this year.
Ariana crushed it, and
Ariana's fucking crushing it.
Yeah,
and Jimmy pulled them down to his level. Now,
dredging out some old shit from 3 years ago for his Christmas album.
now,
He goes, now that
granted
Megan
again-
Thee Stallion and Ariana Grande are back in the news, let's bring out this old classic from 4 years ago.
Do you think they saw this was coming out and then they looked at the track lists and were like, damn it.
God damn it. All right, so I love my note for this next one. It's How You Know It's Christmas Time. This is our first track since Christmas Ding Dong that doesn't have a guest vocalist. And my only note said, God, Jimmy Fallon is the worst.
Because, listen, sonically, this is a song you and I would listen to by another artist.
But there's a handful of songs where I'm like, in the hands of anyone else, maybe.
Yeah.
But my God, I was like, this is the best thing I can say about every track on this album is they're 2-minute long songs.
Yes.
Like they are in and out as quickly as possible.
16 tracks, it's 38 minutes long.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Then we get the Christmas Eve polka featuring
Now,
Weird Al
hold on.
Yankovic and the Roots.
Hold on, because I have a question for you now.
Yeah.
Based off of what you just said about how Jimmy Fallon gave you your least favorite Ariana Grande and Meg Thee Stallion song, did this become your least favorite Weird Al song?
I'm going to say no, and I'm going to say no because Jimmy's barely there. He's doing backup vocals on this, but this just straight up feels like a short, goofy Weird Al song.
Yeah.
I was almost like...
Why is this here?
Yeah, it almost felt like Al had recorded a New Year's Eve polka, and Jimmy begged him to can I just harmonize with you so I can put this on my Christmas album?
Because that he's that will sell.
Yeah. Well, because the other thing is in the grand scheme of stuff, a lot of these songs you can tell that Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Fallon's writers wrote the lyrics to these songs that he made them sing. This feels like Al wrote this song.
It does. It really does.
I know that I sound super biased as a guy who has a Weird Al podcast, but this is definitely the best song on this album. And I think it's because it's the one that feels the least under Jimmy Fallon's overall control.
Yeah. I would 100%, if you were hey man, let's cover this Weird Al Christmas album, I would expect to hear this.
Yeah.
This
it doesn't
makes
feel
sense on
out
there.
of the realm.
But it feels way out of the realm on this one.
Well, and then, dear fucking God, are we brought back to the reality of what this shit show is with chipmunks and chestnuts?
Oh, he's such a bad singer.
And I said, my notes say, every time I see that there's no guest vocalist, I get overwhelmingly sad. Jimmy's not auto-tuned on this one, and I have never smiled less.
This, oh my God.
This might be the worst. This might actually be the worst track on the album.
This is the worst song on the album. But as I was just listening to it as we're talking, it sounds like when Trey Parker tries to do a really bad song on South Park.
But I think that this is
this is worse.
Yeah, this is way worse.
We're making an ad.
Napping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week. Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast, brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
Do you like to laugh, geek out on music, and learn all about that band or artist who had that one song back in the day, but then seemed to fall off the face of the earth? If so, you need to subscribe to One Hit Thunder. Together with an array of interesting and hilarious guests, we do a weekly dive into one-hit wonders like Eiffel 65's Blue, Krayshawn's Gucci Gucci, EMF's Unbelievable, Delamitri's Roll to Me, Los Del Rio's Macarena, Musical Youth's Pass the Dutchie, and even Patrick Swayze's She's Like the Wind. So are you subscribed to One Hit Thunder or what? As Desiree would say, you gotta be. And as K7 would encourage, you gotta come baby come and join in on the fun of the One Hit Thunder podcast.
Come, baby, come, baby, baby, come, come. Come, baby, come, baby, baby.
Then we get One Glove featuring Will Ferrell, and it's just such a frustratingly dumb concept for like a 2-minute song. And here's the thing, like Jimmy Fallon is very clearly like, Jimmy Fallon wishes that he had the comedy album career of an Adam Sandler.
Yes.
Like before this, he did put out an album. Before he was the Tonight Show talk show host, he put out an album and it did crickets, right? Yep. One Glove is not that far off from an Adam Sandler song called Red Hooded Sweatshirt. Red Hooded Sweatshirt is like a 6.5 minute long song.
Yeah.
About like an equally dumb concept. And Sandler sells it with such sincerity that it's like hilariously brilliant.
Yeah.
This
isn't.
Every second of this, Will Ferrell and Jimmy Fallon are reminding you that this is a joke and that it's silly and it's dumb on purpose. And it's like, like it's, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Red Hooded Sweatshirt.
No,
but
I've never heard it.
It was one that he did on SNL and then he did like an extended version years later on an album. Okay. But it's like, literally, it's him talking about like how much he loves his Red Hooded Sweatshirt. And then there's a bridge where him and the Red Hooded Sweatshirt get into a fight. And it's like a slow spoken monologue where he's like, we got into an argument, Sweatshirt, and we decided to settle it on the basketball court in a game of 1-on-1. And I may have won that game, but I know you gave up a few points just to make me smile. Like that's the level of stupid it should be. This is just like, oh, I'm missing a glove, so my body's uneven with weight distribution now. It's like, what the fuck is happening, Jimmy Fallon?
My response to One Glove featuring Will Ferrell is that Will Ferrell has given nothing short of plenty of Christmas classics for you to go visit and not listen to this fucking
and
song.
don't listen to One Glove. Next we get Merry Happy Christmas featuring
which is just Jimmy Fallon.
No, with Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea Handler.
Chelsea Handler shows up. And it was around this point in the album where he's clearly trying to do like a bit off of like Happy Christmas by John Lennon, but like failing at it. I wrote, this legitimately might be my least favorite thing of 2024, but it is definitely my least favorite Christmas album of all time.
Yeah.
I hate, like, Dylan, this or the Bob Rivers Twisted Christmas with the fucking 12 Pains of Christmas.
Oh. Is it the whole album?
The whole album, yeah.
All right, Bob Rivers.
What is this next song that all I wrote was "This Feels Racist," which
Chiquito?
Chiquito? Yeah.
I don't know.
But it's like a 1.5-minute island track where he sings in an accent, and it might not be racist, but it feels racist.
It feels racist. I don't want to listen to it anymore. Next song is Hallmark Movie.
And who's the Clara?
Cara Delevingne. I think she's more of an actress / model.
Okay.
Than she is a singer, if I remember correctly.
Here's what I wrote. I've heard this.
Yeah, she's from the first Suicide Squad movie.
Is this an old one? Is this like from when she was just on the show one time? Because what I wrote down was, I've heard this concept. I've heard this type of song musically that they're going for as well. And I just feel sad. I'm sad that this is an album that's available for people to listen to. I'm sad that Jimmy Fallon is this famous. It's really rich about him writing a song about how bad predictability can be.
This is a brand new song.
This is
album.
Man, Jimmy Fallon in 2024 getting in early on the Hallmark predictability jokes.
Yes.
Like, there's people on TikTok who do their like improvised Hallmark movies that are funnier than the 2 minutes of this album.
Oh yeah.
Like,
easily.
it's so bad. And now we're treated to 2 in a row of Jimmy Fallon solo.
Just Jimmy Fallon.
We get Weird Cousin, and I wrote, oh, great, more Jimmy Fallon solo songs. I made us do this. This
You
is
did.
my fault.
This is one of your. Now you did give me the option between two albums, and I haven't listened to the other one yet. Have you?
I think I haven't either, but I think that we'll come at the other one more like, hey, we got nothing to say, but this is really good. Like,
Yeah.
because it's an artist who I trust to give me good
And that's
music.
almost why I wanted to go with this. I felt like this would spring up a little bit more conversation.
Boy, but I think I didn't even anticipate how bad it was going to be. Because I looked at how many guests were on it, and I thought that it was what you had mentioned. Like, maybe it's just like Jimmy Fallon doing little bits in between these artists doing songs.
Nope.
But I should have known Jimmy's
mostly
ego
Fallon.
better than this. What do you have
This
written down
song's
for
really
Weird Cousin?
bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
Just this, I'm playing it in the background. This song is really awful.
Well, at least it improves with Thanksgiving Eve, to which I wrote, I truly think that Jimmy Fallon's best kept secret is that he's bad at everything. This is a
Yeah.
really mediocre Bob Dylan impression.
Yeah, like the I would say that John C. Reilly did a much better Bob Dylan impression
Yes.
in Walk Hard. Like,
Yes.
like this is horrendous.
It's-
This is really bad. And also I like my Christmas albums in order of when the dates happen. Thanksgiving Eve should be towards the beginning of
The
the
track
album.
before the end? What are you kidding me?
Yeah. Now we're going into
This is the roughest
think-
one.
yeah.
Because like, so Almost Too Early for Christmas featuring Dolly Parton. What I wrote down was this could have worked so well without Jimmy's auto-tuned voice ruining it.
Yep.
Because Dolly's
Yep.
killing it on this track.
Dolly's amazing.
And it's
Dolly's
like-
amazing in this song.
But like what makes me even more annoyed is like not only is Dolly absolutely crushing it on this song, this is the most auto-tuned Jimmy's been the entire
Yes.
album. And
Yeah.
he's mixed so loud.
poorly.
And
Yeah.
he has more lyrics on this than any of the other like
Yep.
why are you trouncing all over this Dolly Parton song
Yep.
that like even on the like this is a weird comparison, but even on that Rosie O'Donnell album that we talked about where Rosie's on every single song,
Yeah.
she doesn't sing on the Celine Dion song. Because she's like, Celine Dion's gonna crush this. I could do nothing but ruin this. This
So
Dolly
this
Parton
song-
song should have been the Celine Dion song of his album. Like, just let Dolly do her thing. Write some lyrics to a silly song for Dolly Parton to absolutely crush or whatever.
This song came out 2 years ago.
Oh, great.
Fun fact.
Great. Of course it
Fun
did.
fact. This song came out 2 years ago.
Why would it be recent? Why
I
bother?
I don't know. This song reminds me of how it sounds like it was recorded. It reminds me of the All I Want for Christmas Is You Justin Bieber duet.
Yes.
Where it's obviously Justin Bieber just singing over the original recording of All I Want for Christmas Is You.
Horrendous.
Like this sounds like Dolly Parton wrote and created a song, and then Jimmy Fallon came and recorded himself over top of that song. Hey man, I don't want to do another one of these. Like if Jimmy Fallon comes out next year with another Christmas album, I don't want to listen to it.
No, I think that this is like officially fallen into like Jimmy Fallon has fallen into the same category as the Jim Carrey Grinch movie where it's like I just want to do this. I don't want to talk about this.
Yeah. How did we get here, Matt? And I want to
Jay Leno didn't leave the Tonight Show when he was supposed to. That's how we got here.
But how did we get Jimmy Fallon? Like
That's
at
how we
some-
got Jimmy Fallon.
But
So-
like what I'm saying is like, so he tried to branch out into film, right? So he did
And that
Taxi,
bombed.
and it bombed.
Yep.
So how did we get here?
Well, listen. Here's what you have to remember. Here's what you have to remember.
Shouldn't his career have died then?
It should have. So here's what you have to remember, right? I love Conan. Conan is like my like top dude, I would say. Conan was not an actor. He was not really anything. He was a failed comic.
Yeah.
But he was a beloved writer behind the scenes. They talk about this a lot on the Simpsons commentary tracks for the first like 10 seasons of The Simpsons.
About that. Yep.
Like they have a commentary track for every single episode of The Simpsons up to like season 17 or something.
Yeah.
And one of them is that it's for the last episode Conan O'Brien ever wrote for The Simpsons. Instead of talking about the episode, they just have Conan in the studio telling the story of how he got late night. And he applied just on a whim. He was like, all right, like, who cares? Like, they're taking open applications. Let's go for it. And they saw something in him. They're like, all right, this guy, like, he's weird. He's different. Like, let's give it a shot and see what happens. And he just, like, happened to capture some people's imagination. So I think the same thing happened when Conan was giving up the late night show.
Hey, Matt.
Yeah.
You just said they saw something in Conan, so this doesn't answer my question. How did we get here?
Listen.
How did where? No, I'm just kidding. Like,
because
there are things I do like about Fallon. Like, I don't
that's
want
the thing. Conan was abrasive, right? Like Conan was definitely cut from that David Letterman cloth of like antagonistic and weird and like irreverent. And then when that didn't work on the Tonight Show when Conan took it over, I think they wanted to go with who is the least controversial, absolute safe kiss celebrity ass person we could find. And boy, was Jimmy Fallon puckering up ready to go.
It's wild. It's wild. And again,
but his show has no
Jimmy
bite.
Fallon. I don't hate Jimmy Fallon.
I don't, but
I'm
at
not
the
like
same...
trying to convince myself of that. Like,
but
I genuinely don't dislike Jimmy Fallon because there's people that hate Jimmy Fallon.
Oh yeah, but when you compare it to all of the other options, when you look at Seth Meyers, Jimmy Kimmel, Stephen Colbert, like they all have a bite that Jimmy just doesn't. Like Jimmy plays it so safe. Jimmy has the like. I always think about the quote from Michael Jordan in The Last Dance when they talked about like, why didn't you speak out about Rodney King? And he was like, Republicans buy sneakers just as much as Democrats. Like Jimmy Fallon definitely just plays that completely apolitical down the center. And like, there's a world where you can blame him for Donald Trump. He had Trump on his talk show and just like palled around with him and ruffled his hair and just like made him seem like a likable, approachable guy when everyone else was like, fuck that dude, I'm not giving him TV time. So I don't know. You know what, Dylan? I don't like Jimmy Fallon, but I do love Christmas, and I love you, buddy.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my Jimmy Fallon Christmas to Christmas Treat and that SNL fucking compilation episode that I watch every year that has Christmas Treat in it. So and the Christmas wrapping. I don't love Jimmy Fallon. Jimmy Fallon does not affect my life in any way, but I do love Christmas and I do love you as well, Matt.
Whoa, 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 now we won't stop till the big ball drops on New Year's. Happy holiday, have a great holiday, have a merry happy holiday.
Are you a fan of young adult novels?
Have you ever wondered the stories behind the people who wrote your favorite young adult novels?
Then join author Eric J. Brown
And Alyssa Lube of Netflix's The Circle.
every other Tuesday on YAOK.
Available on all podcasting apps.
Woo!
We're making an ad.
Napping ad.
This is where I think if we're doing it right, Alec Baldwin comes in. He says a couple things. He listens to the podcast every week. Has he been canceled? Wait, is Alec Baldwin the one who killed somebody? I hear that Gary Sinise is free.
Oh, okay, great.
He hasn't worked since 2020.
So, what would be the script that we would have Gary Sinise say for the Napping Through Happy Hour podcast?
Listen to this damn show. Damn it.
The Napping Through Happy Hour podcast brought to you by Geekscape.
Real life, real drama, real time.
I'm Gary Sinise.
That's the ad. That's the ad. That's the ad.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.